my name is Seneca, and today I am going to be reviewing this Arteza sketchbook. Real quick, I just want to clarify that I am not sponsored by them. I bought this with my own money, and also that this video will be more informational than it is entertaining. So if you're on the hunt for a new sketchbook and you're interested in this one, I will be sharing all of what you need to know about it. So with that in mind, let's get into it. I will be mostly comparing this sketchbook with Handbook Journal Company's large portrait sketchbook that I have just filled. First thing, prices. I found on Amazon that you can purchase this large portrait size book, I believe with a mixed media paper, for around $16 to $18 for one book. But I have also found there is a pack of 2 that you can buy for $34.99, and this is US dollars. On that pack of 2, I also found that you have to pay $12.99 for shipping. That will cost you $47.98, which is a lot. Now, I got this pack of 2 for $29.99, and it had free shipping. I found that on Amazon and their website. Price-wise, this is a better option. I also haven't found where you can just buy one of these. I've only found this size in a pack of 2. So let's hope that this is good paper that I will enjoy using. What I find extremely necessary for a sketchbook is for it to be bound in this style rather than this with wire rings. I also like a hardcover, a bookmark, an elastic closure, and also a pocket, an expandable pocket. Oh, it's just a little, found a little piece of glue or something. No harm done. There's a nick here, but I'm sure that's from shipping. Not too big of a deal. The paper, it does feel pretty thick. It feels like a good mixed media paper. Both of these books claim to be acid-free paper and heavyweight. It's hard to find information on this book. Amazon, along with the company's website, they don't have a lot of information on the details of this book, but Arteza does have a lot of information. They have roughly the same amount of pages. I believe this, they claim to have 50 sheets of paper. Sheets as in counting this. Not 1, 2, but just 1. This, they have about 60. It opens pretty nicely. I can tell that with a little stretching out, the pages will lay flat. This one kind of did the same too. So let's start testing out the paper. I usually do swatches on the back, just like this. So I guess I will continue that. For the Handbook Journal Company's book, pen worked just fine. Ink, surprisingly well without any warping. If it was mostly ink. Watercolor, if there was too much water, it would warp the pages. Watercolor pencils, if there was too much water, it would warp the pages. But overall was fine. And gouache, surprisingly good. But again, don't add too much water because it's not a watercolor journal. Alcohol markers will bleed through. Washable markers, totally fine. Though if you keep layering them, it will start to rip the pages up. Alright, so now we get to test Arteza's book. Here is a black liner, 0.4. Kind of making me nervous putting the first mark on the page. Nothing at all. Let's see if anything happens if we go over it a bunch. Nope. Brush pen, zebra brush pen. This is a pretty light pen. Pen, all good. Crayola, washable markers. Didn't bleed through, but as I was expecting, like the other book, if you go over it too many times, it will start to rip up the pages. Here's some alcohol markers. Yep, but It holds up better than handbook. Not bad. Here we have Prismacolor watercolor pencils. Seems to lift off. Okay. Alright, let's do it again, but less water. And that did not go through. But I didn't leave the water on. Lifts up pretty good. And that has not gone through. And it has not lifted up the paper. So, I'll give it a check mark. Now let's try out ink. While that dries, let's also do some watercolor. Got a nice little collage going. Let's also do a bit of gouache. Here is the gouache that I use by Fine Touch. Alright, now it is completely dry. It has bent it up, but none of it has gone through. Once it's dried, if you just kept the book closed for a little while, I think it would straighten up. Just like the other, it's a little wonky on the sides, but it's pretty flat. Ink, awesome. Gouache, I think better because this paper, there's not much texture to it. It's very slick. Did make it rip up a little bit. This stuff was way heavier and it's totally fine. It's more textured. It kind of feels more soft rather than sleek, kind of almost plasticky feeling. So this stuff, it does not keep going through the paper. It's soaked in as much as it could and then leaves it to sit on top. Does not warp any further like this one. So I think this book is honestly better quality when using wet media than using this. And this specific book, because it's square, it has more area and is cheaper than this book. One more test I wanted to do. I realized that when I was lifting up the watercolor or gouache or whatever, I did it when I had just put it on top. I wanted to see if it would come off well after it had dried. So here we go. Let's wet it. Lift. Oh, wow. Yeah. It lifts really nicely. Yeah, that's really impressive. The alcohol marker was the only thing that went through, but not nearly as much as this one. When I swatched them in this, I pretty much did that. And it's really bled through. Whereas this, almost nothing. Do it again. A little more. And again. Still more, but nothing on this page. In all, this paper is really good for mixed media and surprisingly well with all the wet media that I tested. This book is advertised more mixed media. All dry medias work just fine, but because there's not much tooth here, it's very slick paper. This is just from closing the book and keeping it closed. It's kind of rubbed off onto the other page. I believe this paper is the mixed media paper, though it's more advertised towards dry media and light watercolor. I think Arteza should really be advertising that the mixed media can hold more wet media really well, even though I put so much friction from the brush on it. Right here, especially, nothing. It's the same as over here. So, that concludes my tests. I'm really glad that I bought this book. Although I do wish you could just buy the one and not have it come in a pack of 2. I'm really surprised about the quality of the paper and how cheap it was. $29.99 for 2 books. That is $15 for each book. I've seen some books that are like $28 by themselves. The whole book itself is really good quality. I hope that I can get more things from Arteza. I highly recommend this book. Like, as long as you are okay with buying a pack of 2, it's so worth it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Arteza, if your other books are the same quality or higher and the same good prices, I would love to work with you. So yeah, I will link down my Instagram, where I will most likely be sharing a lot of art that I will make in this book. So follow that if you would like to see it. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!